Greetings, Geechlings. Kitchen Prime here with my review of One Piece Chapter 890, Big Mom on the ship. Or, I think I've also saw Big Mom on deck, which, to be honest, sounds better. But, I love the color spread that we got. It was a Zodiac themed one, and during my live reaction, I couldn't identify what Big Mom and Mon Sherry, who seemed to just kind of be there for no reason at all. Excuse me. Big Mom has to be the boar / pig, for obvious reasons. I mean, she's as big as a house, and eats anything in sight, except not recently. And Mon Sherry, because of her diminutive figure and just kind of mousy-like, somewhat personality, but just features, she's the rat / mouse. Anyway, enough gushing about that. Starts off, Big Mom's search for the cake on the Sunny begins by she reaches onto like one of the lower decks and just starts prying it off the main deck, which I was like, oh my god, Frankie's going to have an aneurysm when he finds out about this. She sees nothing. Jinbei's like, there's no cake on here. I think we've all been saying time and time again that for a cake that would feed this woman, it would have to be very large and it would be very noticeable on any ship. So, but she starts yelling that this would make her son Perospero a liar, and then I would have to kill him with my own bare hands. Which kind of makes it seem like she doesn't want to kill him, which I did see a thing, Joy Boy talking about how it's part of her values of family. She doesn't like liars, people that betray her, or I forget what the other thing was. I would like my family to be honest and not stab me in the back. And he shockingly hears this, which, how does sound carry so much? But she was yelling, so I guess it makes sense. And he's like, she remembered that? Crap. So then she goes to attack with a flaming cognac blade of destruction attack. Interesting name. I think it was also Emperor Sword, but you read different translations, there can be anything. But Jinbei counters this. He crosses his arms. I might be crossing them wrong, or however he did it. Uses armament hockey, shark skin as he called it, which was better than the other translation I found, which was plum blossom skin. I think we know which one's better. Resulting in him being sent back from the impact. He didn't seem to sustain any damage, so this goes to show how powerful he is and possibly how weak Big Mom has become. So he gets sent off into the ocean. Big Mom continues her search. She goes for one of the upper decks, and that's the room that Carrot was in. Nami's like, no, stop. And Big Mom's like, make me. Show me where the cake is then. She goes to attack Nami, and Chopper and Nami just kind of dodge out of the way. And meanwhile, the sail got caught on fire, and Brooke's kind of freaking out. And Big Mom goes to, yet again, attack Nami. Chopper intervenes with a guard point, blocking her attack. And then while Brooke continues to panic, it's like, water, water. It's like, I'm in the middle of the sea, but there's no water. But the flames seem to be spreading, so unsure what to do. But luckily, Jinbei's in for the save yet again. Jinbei is really an MVP as of the last, I'd say, 10 to 15 chapters. probably longer, but just to, you know. He does a sea current shoulder throw to put them out. So it's just like a giant water spout comes out of the water. And from a fair distance, too. And puts out the flames, even hurting Prometheus, it seems like. He shrunk down, which later didn't seem to matter, because he kind of reinvigorated himself. I thought he would be out of, you know, out of kind of action for a bit, but no. This chapter did not want to do that. So then Jinbei jumps back on the deck, and he tells Big Mom to leave. She demands the cake, yet again. So then he follows this up with a vagabond drill, which is an ultimate ultimate fishman karate technique. I'm pretty sure he used this, but I don't remember it being called vagabond drill. It's kind of like he punched. He punched her in the stomach. It ripples, which affects the water in her body. And then it just sent her right off the deck, taking some of the railing with her. Yet again, Frankie's like, not really, but I'm. One day he will have a sensor, I'm sure, that tells him when the ship gets damaged. But so she gets sent flying overboard, and Zeus swoops in and saves her. I wondered if she was going to land in the water for a short period of time. Do the homies get affected by the water? I want to say that would be interesting to know, because I don't think we've actually seen that. I also saw some interesting speculation on Twitter that Jinbei may have lost his left arm, because I went back after reading some of that and I was like, he did, because a lot of people were bringing up the roulette, and we've seen all of his limbs up until this chapter. Now this chapter, you know, everything seemed normal still, but it was after he had been sent in the water, he returned to the ship. We see all but his left arm, so this could just be Oda trolling us, or, you know, just a detail he thought wasn't necessary to add. So it could be a slight oversight, because the community's going wild. So, anyway, Big Mom gets an idea, a horrible idea, at least for us. She plans on horizontally slicing the Sunny to look for the cake. And Napoleon stretches his cognac blade, which, what is this hat, sword, homie thing? I mean, it's ridiculous. He can become like a cutlass, like a regular sword, a cognac, and he can stretch his blade. Well, I think he's more than just a hat and a sword, you know? So yeah, into a long sword. The Straw Hats started formulating a plan, apparently. Nami tries to lure in Zeus with some black balls, and he's like, I'm not falling for that again, and zaps, or seemingly zaps her. Which I was like, oh no, poor Nami, she's not going to be able to survive that. But then it just turns out it's Brook, and he's lightning resistant, which, lightning is a very powerful force of nature. That's charring his bones. Or at least burning his afro. But apparently not. Further indicates he might have armament hockey. I don't know. So it just doesn't seem like that should be possible, you know? But anyway, Big Mom takes this kind of as a challenge, because he's just kind of standing there. He stood his ground against her once before. And she reminds him, it's like, oh, you don't remember our last encounter? You couldn't even scratch me. And he's like, yes, you're right. But can I at least see your panties? Really, this is in Brook's character, but I don't want to see Big Mom's panties. I don't even want to think about him even asking that. But then again, Brook is a 90-year-old pervert that I don't think has seen panties in at least 50-something years of that. So, and Big Mom's 68, so I guess they're somewhat comparable in age. They're both senior citizens. But anyway, this topic's going weird. But anyway, this confuses her long enough, so Brook launches himself into the air and then does a 3-verse humming soul arrow notch slash, cutting Zeus in half. Obviously, he's freaking out. I mean, I would too if my head or my whole body had just been cut in half. But Brook states that this was their goal all along. And Nami, turns out she used the black balls to make him discharge, shocking Big Mom. This gives the Straw Hats some time to put some distance between them because, I mean, really, this is probably the best they could do to her. So, yeah, it's best to run if you can. Well, anyway, we see Jinbei at the helm, which really, another bit of, if you look, you never do see his left arm, so that theory might be true. But even when you looked real closely at the impact panel between him and Big Mom, it didn't look like his arms even got cut. He figures that the damage they sustained was a minimum, or a minimum amount for what they're up against. I mean, Brook shows off a depowered plushie-sized Zeus, who looked really cute. I imagine there's going to be a lot of merchandise about Zeus now. And Nami's like, oh, lovely. And it's like she goes into complete sadist mode, and it's like, oh, you remember when I didn't ask you to become my friend. I wanted you to be my servant. Or do you wish to die? And he's just kind of crying, which I would be too. Nami looked kind of creepy in that panel. And finally, Big Mom is seen riding on Prometheus, which I guess it makes sense. I mean, she could ride on a cloud. I guess she can ride on a fireball. And which then just proved that Prometheus is not out of the game just yet because he got wet earlier. But anyway, just kind of my final thoughts are, overall, I didn't see this as controversial like other people did. I mean, they didn't actually defeat her. They just more of stalled her because she's already technically weaker and, you know, because of her not eating, and they just lessened her power even more by taking Zeus out of the equation, yet again. Seems to be a running theme. This is at least the second time that I recall, but there might have been the third, or the very first time would have been in the Seducing Woods against the Enraged Army. But I don't know. I've heard people say that this is the third time, so I would assume that's the only other time they would have done it. And it would have been Nami each time, which makes sense. She controls the weather. Brook controls souls and can resist souls, so Big Mom controls souls, so, you know. And Jinbei controls water, so she's a devil fruit user. So, I mean, while they can't outright defeat her, they can at least kind of manipulate things somewhat to their advantage. But, yeah. Let's see, what else? Really, I don't think Prometheus is as fast as Zeus, or otherwise we would have seen him being her ride at some point, unless he can, like, just rocket propel himself. But, and plus it took Prometheus and Zeus hours, I believe, to reach Big Mom after they were separated. So, that's where I kind of get my idea that they're probably not as fast. Or he's not as fast. So catching up with the Sunny, less likely, but I'm sure she'll be pursuing them nonetheless. But anyway. But yeah, I still stand by my 5.5. It was a great chapter, even though technically it was for 2018. But it'll be interesting to see where this goes on into the new year. And Happy New Year to everybody, and I'll see you in 2018, if not before. I have a few recorded videos. But anyway, thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Quicheling, roll out. Also, follow me on Twitter at Keishan Prime. I always forget. But anyway, Quicheling, roll out.